Sierra's new medieval game is called Conqueror AD 1086. In it, you play a knight who...
How good to see you!
And who are you supposed to be?
I am a knight of the realm.
Let's see, you're 5'1", you weigh 98 pounds, and the closest thing to armor you have is the chrome edging on your pocket protector. I don't think you're a knight.
Bother me not.
Let me say this one more time, Sybil. You are not a knight.
Thanks. I really needed that. I think
you've been playing Conqueror a bit too long. It must be a great game.
Well, it has the seeds of greatness in it.
I see that Software Sorcery developed. That explains the excellent graphics.
It does have very nice graphics, and for the most part, decent sound and voice acting. In fact, it has lots of good parts, but taken as a single game, there are some real problems.
I also see that Time Warner had a hand in this. I wonder how Sierra got a hold of it.
To be honest, I have no idea, but my cynical side suspects that the game's rather disjointed development history accounts for some of its problems.
Well, we'd better get to it then. What's this all about?
You play a knight. One of your duties is to manage your fief.
Looks very SimCity-ish.
Sort of. Your fief is divided into 3 parts: farms, village, and forest. You use the farms for food, the village to house people, and you can log timber or mine metals for cash in the forest.
Hey, you get to build a castle too. That's cool. This part of the game looks pretty interesting.
It would be interesting, except that it has almost no bearing on the overall game. At the beginning of each month, you'll be told that you need more houses or more crops or whatever. If you just follow the advice you get, you'll never have any problems.
Well, at least you can experiment with the best castle layout. Why are you shaking your head?
The castle doesn't matter. You'll do just as well with a simple tower as with a clone of Windsor Castle.
Well, that's discouraging. What else do you do in Conqueror?
You can roam the countryside, attend tournaments, and attack other castles.
Now that sounds more knight-like.
This is the life of a fairy tale knight. You wait around on this screen until you hear of a tournament. Then you run as fast as you can to try to get to the tourney before it ends.
Run how?
You plot your movement path segment by segment. Terrain figures heavily into how fast you move, and so does weather.
So you click on one end of a road, then the other end, and your knight follows it?
Unless the road curves. Then you have to click your way around that curve, or else the damn fool will leave the road and head off through the forest.
Does this add anything to the game? It sounds to me like it would just be a pain in the neck.
Which is why we pay you the big bucks to be a game reviewer. It is an incredible pain in the neck. An option to order your knight to follow a road would have been much appreciated. Or even just let him find the quickest way from point A to point B.
So what's the deal here?
Well, we've arrived at a tourney where you can joust or melee.
Is that all you can do?
No, I've left the best part for last. You can talk to the ladies of the court.
Va-va-voom! Now this is getting interesting. Hi, you cute stuff.
My parents warned me about married men like you. Please leave.
She's got your number. But you're right, this is interesting. But I have to back up a bit to explain why.
Oh, please do. I'll just be over here trying to piece together my dignity.
You see, there are 2 paths to victory in Conqueror. You can try to become the king's champion by slaying a dragon.
A noble cause.
Or you can usurp the throne and take over the entire kingdom. By chatting with these ladies, you can find out lots of information about the dragon. Furthermore, by wearing their colors in the jousts, you can court them.
And what good will that do you?
Well, some of them will eventually reward you with gifts, specifically the armor and weapons you need to slay the dragon.
I see, but in order to do this, you have to win the jousts, right? How does that work?
Basically, you walk out onto the field, make a wager with one of the other knights, and then advance to the list.
To the list? What do I need a list of?
The list is where you joust, you ignorant peasant. Anyway, a click of the mouse starts you hurtling towards your opponent. At this point, moving the mouse controls the point of your lance. Hit him square in the shield, and you'll unhorse him and win.
Then what?
Then you go back to the lady whose colors you're wearing, get some more info, and repeat the process.
And what about this melee field here? Can you wow the women there too?
No, they don't seem as interested in that. But it is good practice since it uses the same game engine as storming a castle. Basically, it's a Doom clone.
Someone say Doom? Throg like Doom.
Oh, where'd he come from? Jeez, we ought to send him after this dragon. So what else is there to the tournament?
Not much. Afterwards, you can go to the inn at a village and talk with some of the other knights. They might give you some more info, but for the most part, that's all there is to the tourneys.
You mentioned storming a castle. Do tell.
Well, as leader of your village, you can raise an army and march against your opponents. In fact, sometimes the king will order you to attack someone.
I sense another sub-game coming on.
Well, Kreskin, you're right again. Battles between armies take the form of a real-time war game, but control in these battles is really, really poor. You can order your troops to go to a certain place, but not to attack anyone. They make that decision on their own.
Headstrong fellas, huh?
Yeah, and too often they'll decide to just stand there and watch their comrades fight.
So in any event, you still haven't taken a castle.
Well, after you've beaten off the defender's army, you can attack the castle itself.
Great, I love siege warfare.
And I'd love to win the lottery, but that doesn't mean it's going to happen.
No battering rams? No boiling oil?
Nope. You and your men start in the castle and proceed to hack down a few dozen of the defender's men in the same Doom clone that was used in Melee.
Throg deathmatch against puny knights. Throg kill knights.
Anyway, you can also find treasure and weapons on your way to killing the lord of the castle and taking it over.
I just don't get it. Most of these sub-games look nice, the graphics of the game are wonderful, and the voice talent is pretty darn good, but you seem unhappy.
Well, I am. There are a few major problems here. The first is that the parts of the game don't mesh very well. For instance, if your castle is attacked, you defend it in the same way you'd attack an enemy's castle. It doesn't matter if you're clear across England, you'll suddenly find yourself home and battling the bad guys. And having a big castle just means you have more area to cover in order to find your enemy and kill him. In fact, this makes the game easier with a smaller, cheaper castle.
That makes no sense. Give me another example.
The game is buggy. For instance, when two armies clash, sometimes both the loser and the winner will disappear after a battle.
Are you sure there isn't a reason for this? Maybe the victorious army has to fall back to regroup or something.
Maybe, but in any case, it totally unbalances the game. You can send a swarm of small forces against a castle, and after all their armies disappear, you just waltz in and storm it. Besides, it doesn't always happen, so I really think it's a bug. Also, the game just plain crashes from time to time.
I'd ask for more details, but I'm getting the feeling we're gonna steer people away from this one, aren't we? Any other mean, nasty things you want to talk about?
Well, I'm supposed to be a knight, right?
Right.
I'm supposed to be gallant and noble, right?
Hard to picture you in that way, but okay.
Well, I have two options. I can kill the king.
He must be an evil, wicked king.
There is no indication of that. In fact, in the intro, he seems a decent king who has brought peace to the land.
So why are you gonna kill him?
Exactly! What am I thinking? I'll kill the dragon instead.
Don't tell me he's a nice dragon.
No, but the ladies are all fairly nice, and in order to get the armor, shield, and lance needed to slay the dragon, I have to woo several of these women in succession. I, Mr. Pious, gallant knight, have to charm the favors out of these ladies one by one, then drop them like a bad habit.
You, sir, are a cad.
I know. I have to tell you, after I played this game, I couldn't look at myself in the mirror.
So, all in all, you didn't like Conqueror AD 1086.
No, I wanted to like it. I really did. Heck, I tried to like it. And you know, there are some really neat ideas in here.
But somehow they just don't gel, huh? Too much of the game, like the castle building, just don't matter, and I guess the bugs and crashes don't help.
Exactly. I want all the parts to mesh, and all the parts to have real meaning, and I want to be able to win while upholding the lofty standards of chivalry.
So, your final decision?
In the words of Monty Python, "Run away! Run away!"